Please give us a thumbs up if y'all can hear us and see us.
Okay, now I fixed it. Okay, I did fix it. Okay, now you can go a little bit right there. Yeah. All right, cool.
Lulu, baby, are we live? Can you hear us and see us?
The man.
You're good. Okay, thank you, baby. All right. What not, chat? What is good? This is the Culture Junkie Experience. My boy Cleto in the building.
Baby. Yeah, we got a big day tonight.
Yeah. This is the Culture Junkie Experience podcast, episode 3, guys. Yo. Jesus. Sorry, guys. Fuck. This is the Culture Junkie Experience, episode 3. We are having technical difficulty. What was your manly facial? Oh, you like that, huh? Had to get pretty for the camera, guys. You know how we do. So, guys, we got Jet Boyer in the building, guys. We are here live from Sold Out from Goodfellas. It is the Culture Junkie Experience, episode 3. The producers here in the building, guys. We are here talking sneakers. We talking culture, and this is what we do, guys. Welcome in, everybody. Z's, the Jackson Squad 5. How we doing? It's for the culture. You know it. What's up? What up? Resells. What's good, baby? Elevated Kicks with Germs. How we doing? Soul Collector, the man, the myth, the legend. How we doing, papa? All right, chat. Extreme Kicks is in the building. What's good, my boy?
Remember that logo?
Huh?
Did you email me that logo?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't get anything on it.
Okay. So let's see. G Cells, how we doing, guys? So chat, come on in, man. Get your questions ready, chat. We're talking sneakers, we're talking culture, we're talking all that good stuff, chat. I don't know where I left off. I don't know if everybody's here from where we left off, chat. Apologize again, man. We had some technical difficulties. You know, we with these, we do not stream, you know, from our phones. We have a full production, cameras, lights, you know, fucking sound. Looks like a DJ music board, you know, like we in this bitch DJing. Frozen screen, but audio is good. Okay. Wifey says that the screen keeps being frozen. It's good. Okay, we're good. Soul Collector's in the building. Next week we will have H-Town Soul Collector in the building on the Culture Junkie podcast every Wednesdays. But guys, yeah. So what we're here to do is we shouldn't have to do it all over again, right? Like introduce you, or should we redo it all over again?
Up to you. I don't know how many. What?
We're gonna Jet.
What's up?
All right. Jet Boyer's in the building. This is the producer of the show, man. Again, he is with Athletically Declined. They are the ones that produce the podcast for us, guys. Jet, do me a favor. Introduce yourself one more time, man, for those that don't know.
What up, guys? It's Jet Boyer. Call me Jet. Yeah, man, we started AD a little over a year ago, and, man, we expanded from sports, bunch of different sports shows. Man, our motto is very much in sync with what Culture Junkies is all about, man. We're creators. We are fans. We do content by the fans, for the fans. We are, you know, your hardcore guys going to give you no bullshit. We ain't going to give you no media, you know, I guess like motivated messaging. Like this is going to be like the real deal, Vander Holyfield. Like,
Come on.
That's what it is. And then we have now like gotten into, again, like media, because there's a lot of the things that, you know, I'm passionate about. I know there's a lot of great people like you guys that we partner with, that we love, like our relationship with y'all, and, you know, everything that we're all about, and able to do that now on AD Media, bringing Culture Junkies, the experience into it now, man. We're just freaking excited. Sky's the limit, man.
All right, man. That's my boy Jet, Fly Guy. So, Chad, today what we're going to be talking about, a few things, man. I figured I wanted to kind of bring this kind of I wanted to bring the business side of things to the culture today, you know. So one, we wanted to talk about the concepts, you know, like what the concept is here at the business, and then kind of like the marketing aspects, the fusion between barbering and sneakers. We have a bar in the middle, which is kind of where everyone meets. And at the bar is usually where what we try to do is kind of convert clients into, you know, either sneaker store clients or into barbershop clients. But what we wanted to try to do was to infuse, you know, fashion from head to toe. So anybody that knows anything, the barbershop and the fashion world, they both go kind of hand in hand. So because of that, what we wanted to do was bring that entire experience under one roof. And what we were hoping to do, and thankfully it's been a successful one, guys. People get haircuts, people buy fitteds, people buy sneakers, people buy, all that. And what we wanted to make sure is that we had one place that we could do all that while you have a beer. And thankfully it's been a fucking hit. So the main thing that we wanted to try to do, and what I'm hoping everybody will kind of understand, is that Culture Junkie is a lifestyle brand. So that's our podcast, that's our apparel line. Sold Out is the sneaker side of everything. Goodfellas Barbershop is the barbershop side of everything. But we are kind of merging everything together to have one concept brand. We haven't. We're not going to release the name of it yet until we're kind of like ready. But just know that that's what we're working on currently. And when we do release it, guys, trust me, it's gonna be a hit, and it's gonna be something that y'all ain't never seen before. Maybe on a larger scale, maybe not so much, but at least in the burbs where we're at, man, like this is what we're doing. So, Jet, tell me a little something, man. Like, how did you kind of get into, this whole media thing, bro?
Yeah. So I mean, a little background, man. I grew up. I like to kind of say I grew up under a pew. So I grew up in church.
Okay.
Like that was kind of the thing, and my pops was pastor, and all that, and so like one of the things that he was always big on is we would do these conventions and stuff, right? Like we do like big services, and anybody who grows up around here in the burbs, like I mean, you probably, there's a church on every corner. And one thing that now the modern like churches like moved into is like one thing you're gonna see is like people creative.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
for sure, right? Like, you're trying to, again, just with anything, like marketing is key. So, like, you want to present yourself a certain way and look as if, again, like with everything, you want to look professional, high quality, right?
Absolutely.
Engaging. And in doing that, like, that's where, the media aspect comes, the cameras, the lighting, the graphic design work, all that stuff, right? And that kind of culminated to just being privileged as being around all these guys who did it. Like we had some. I was privileged to be around a lot of very, very talented creators that didn't even know how good they were at the time because they were young. Now all of those guys I learned from, they all do it for a living. Like the guy who I learned doing video from does it for a living, like full time. The guy who I learned doing graphic design work full time, like that's what he does. I went to audio engineering school, like straight out of high school. The whole idea was to open a studio, but as anybody who's gotten in that side, it's very competitive. There's a lot of grind, not a lot of money in it, as much as you think. And so, had an eye for doing all that and kind of took it and was thinking, man, like, what am I going to do outside of it? Music, because that was my main deal. Like I'm a musician, like, first and foremost, that's kind of what my thing's always been. And then, kind of doing starting AD, it was like, well, I mean, like, if all these guys that are doing this can do it, I can do this.
Oh, for sure.
I know how to do all this.
Yeah.
Like let's roll, let's do it. And so like that's how I got started in it. Literally was like, doing stuff for different service and conventions, and then moving in from there to start doing freelance stuff. And now, we're producing stuff that, I'm biased, but we've got an incredible team and people that are part of our group, that like y'all that have ideas and have these visions that I look at and I'm get on board with. I'm fine with that and go, okay, like, well, let's make that happen. Let's do that, right?
Yeah.
I think with anything, like not just in business, but let's just specifically talk like creation, right? That's creative is, I think, such a big terminology, and it enters into, especially in the culture. Because it is part of the culture. Being a creative is what I think is what sparks the culture trends.
No, it does. The thing is that the culture has always kind of been like that. I don't want to call it like a redheaded stepchild, but it's always had its own swagger, and that's in any culture.
Yeah, and it's now being brought to the forefront, I think, where in the past it was very behind the scenes, and again, like in the early stages, it was like, if you back talk, me and you both listen to Rogan, and that that's a big inspiration for me in doing podcasting and stuff. And it's like back in the day when he was doing it, like nobody was podcasting because people couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford to buy the equipment. Now, like these microphones we're talking on, like y'all hear how good it sounds out there. This $100 microphone. Like,
oh damn.
Yeah, like it's not like there's anything special.
We're buying microphones, guys,
right?
Straight up.
Like doesn't special like this, you got a computer, everyone's got a computer now. right?
Yeah, it just takes that.
Yeah, and I mean, people made things so accessible now to where it's like, okay, how do you take that and elevate it again? And like,
Yeah.
here we are, like we're elevating it again, because this, again, as we know, as you guys know, here in the chat, like this isn't something that's like you're not running through whatnot and seeing podcasts all over the place. This is unique. So that's here we are. Like, I think like the big thing, you want to start a culture movement, be the person that's not afraid to fail.
Well, and I think that's kind of where, because even on the chat, man, I've had people like, yo, why are you streaming a podcast on Whatnot? And I'm like, shit, why not? Like, nobody else is doing it. So why
What's the
wouldn't I?
worst that's going to happen?
Well,
Tell me.
The thing is that like I think as far as like me, myself, and my crew, my brand, um, you know, I think what we bring as far as unique to the channel is that like, yo, we're not just, like people streaming, in their crib. Like we're a full-fledged business. Like
Right.
over 1,000 shoes, we got over 11 barbers, we got a brick and mortar. And to do all of that, that takes a business model. That takes strategy. That takes, like being able to link up with Athletically Declined to bring kind of like this whole ingenuity that comes to like bringing something unique to a platform like Whatnot. And the beauty of it, you think you need to run some auctions while broadcasting. Yo, Sneaker Flipper,
Hey.
we thought about it, man. We just need to find a way to incorporate it. But
say it with your chest. I've been telling him.
Hey, who want me to run this Travis Scott fandom right now?
Hey.
Dollar, quit playing with me. Quit playing.
Be respectful, chat.
Yo, guys, and chat, just remember, on Friday night, we're going to be running a stream from Sold Out. We're going to be running off all Travis Scott. This is unreleased right here, chat. If you don't know, now you know. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody doing it like that. Boom, boom, boom. Yo, so, but again, chat, like, what we want to do is try to make sure that we bring this for the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm a businessman first, barber second, sneakerhead third. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm for me, as far as my role in the business, man, is that like I'm the businessman. I've been doing this almost 20 years. And let's hope it gets bigger than a 9.5. Extreme Kicks, quit playing with me, dog. 9.5. The beauty about a 9.5 Extreme Kicks is that I can damn near find my shoe almost anywhere. It's not even a hard size to find, but guess what? It's a fucking banger. But quit playing with me. But pretty much, yo, like, so this is kind of what the podcast is meant to do, is to bring, like a value, whether it's reselling, tips, like sourcing, all that kind of stuff, where we want to be able to be accessible to the chat, because sometimes when I'm selling, man, it's just selling, like all we're doing is we're just banging out shoes. But I want to stop, take a breather, get to know the chat, and if there's already any questions that the chat would like to know, that's kind of where, if I don't know the answer, I'll figure it out. I'll find it, but I want to bring value to the channel by bringing, like, not only credibility, but a good sense of knowledge when it comes to this business side. Motherfuckers want to be swiping. That's why. That's it. And I get it, yo. And probably the thing about Whatnot, man, is that it's almost become like, it's almost like a reseller's tool. I don't know if we had to put it in percentages, how many people on Whatnot are actual consumers and how many people on Whatnot are actual resellers. Because I think it's a little bit, it's hard because resellers want deals because they want to resell. And both, my boy. Well, but which one is it? Like, is it a 50-50? Is it a 60-40? Is it a 70-30? Because the thing is that resellers want to, to get top dollar, we want to resell to consumers. 75% reseller, 25% customers. You're right, bro. And that sounds about right, because anytime, whether I'm personal shopping or whether, I'm streaming dollar auctions, I think for all resellers that are reselling on Whatnot, we need to find a way. And this is kind of where the marketing thing comes in, is that we need to market outside of Whatnot to our own platforms to get our customers to come to our channels to make sure that they're buying from us, and not only us, but spread the love with other resellers. So one of my marketing like concepts that I do here locally is that every time I'm about to go on, I share the stream to all the platforms, to the Sold Out platform, to the Goodfellas platform, to the Culture Junky platform, and to my personal platform, because What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring buyers into the Whatnot channel, not only for myself, but I want to bring other buyers to other streamers because some of my people aren't into sneakers, but they might be into Funko Pops. You know, some people might be into knives. And the thing is that I got a big hub of people that I see daily. You know, hundreds of people on a daily. And that's because of like the barbershop and the sneaker store. So, in order to bring value to the channel, not only will I bring products to be consumed, but I want to also bring consumers because then I think that's what Whatnot needs a little bit more is more buyers. Whatnot is about to get me divorced. Jesus Christ. Yeah, man, yo, this shit is addictive. Yo, 8 out of 10 people that I've put on the Whatnot since we started streaming here have all told me like, yo, this shit is addicting. There's something addicting about this channel, but yo, it's a beautiful thing because what Whatnot has done successfully is that they've gamified shopping. Now, the only thing is that in order to have a great balance between the two, is that it has to be a nice balance of consumers and then a nice balance of resellers. And I think at some point, if Whatnot or if the people that are marketing Whatnot can actually, you know, actively get to bring in more consumers and resellers, guys, right there, the game changes because now consumers only want the shoe. If consumers are bidding for the shoe, they're gamifying it, they're going to run it up. Resellers and any reseller on this app knows this that, yo, that shoe will hit market and then plateau. So any reseller that's looking to make a good profit off of shoes, especially if they're fucking buying it anywhere close to market, that's where it gets tough, especially when you get your first item and then free shipping. You're trying to take advantage of the free shipping and you bid to win again. El Pina 13, you're absolutely right, bro. Um, I signed up for Whatnot Rehab this shit addiction, so I'll be gone for a few months. Hey, that's okay. Which shoe? I don't know which shoe you talk about, Tada. But I think that's kind of where I think us as resellers, anybody that's on the app, man, we need to make sure that we're marketing this outside of like not only on Whatnot, but to your own social media channels and everything. I mean, what do you think? Like for a reseller that's on the app, and they because what they want to do, and I like to think if they're anything like me, they want consumers. You know, they don't want to just sell to more resellers, which I get it. But if the app is already 75% resellers, how do we bring in more consumers on a marketing side, outside of Whatnot, like say IG, Facebook, TikTok, and all that stuff?
Well, I think like the best model you can follow is like, for anybody in here that knows what Twitch is, like Twitch has become something way bigger than what it was. Twitch is made for gamers. It's made for gamers to go there and have a central hub that when you go on there, what do you expect? You expect to see people playing video games.
For sure.
And with Whatnot, it's such a different concept because I think a lot of people are, I mean, like bluntly in denial that there's a market for this stuff still. I think that there's way more of an openness to society, general, the culture of where we're at in our daily lives to understand that there's a shoe game. There's a fit game, like there's a vintage game, which I think those kind of all fall under a similar category.
Yeah. But Whatnot sells everything.
And Whatnot sells everything, right? And I think that the thing with Whatnot is, and this is something I was thinking about where you're talking is, you say we want people to come in here and you have customers here, and like if you're not doing a podcast on here, you're almost shooting yourself in the foot because the biggest thing when you own a company, what do people, and just in general business, people buy from people.
Yeah, it's a people's game.
So if you're sitting there running a shoe the entire time, like what is somebody coming in there for? They're coming in there to see where they're going to get the best deal. Are they really looking for who's selling it always? Like, again, we're talking about the majority of people just getting into Whatnot, not the hardcore base.
Yeah.
And if you want new people coming in there, you got to catch their attention and give them a reason to stay for your stuff, right?
Yeah.
A reason why you would go down the street and pay an extra $10 to get it from your local shop, or $5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that that's knowing who you're buying from. And I think that's where this comes into play and why this is so, I think, important and why this should be utilizing this tool to like do more, as in saying the tools and Whatnot, is because we're letting you know who we are.
like up front.
Yeah,
Get to know us.
Because come in here and like let me talk to you, get to know you on a better scale versus just whenever I see you spending money with me. Like I care about you more than just taking your money.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that like in sales or in business or in anything, everything's it's a people's game. The thing
Yeah.
is that me as a salesman,
Yeah.
like I have a motive. I'm
Right.
actively trying to sell you something. So because of that, like there's a strategy to all of that because that's called salesmanship. Now, when it comes to the podcast, this is where you get to know me, Joaquin, the person,
Right.
the businessman, the barber, the husband, the father. Those are the things that people, because I've always told people, especially barbers, when people fall in love with you, they fall in love with everything about you after that.
Right.
But the most important part is, who are you? Because most people that see me, whether it's in person or whether it's on whatnot or IG or anything, they wouldn't be able to relate to me as a business owner because it's a small percentage of people in the world that are business owners. So that relatability kind of goes out the wind. But if you know me as a friend, a father, a husband, just someone that likes to kind of spread knowledge, now I'm more relatable because now I could relate to you on things that you and I or anybody else could kind of like could align with.
Right.
Now, once they understand me on that level, then guess what? They understand me a little bit better as a businessman.
Right.
Because they're like, oh no, yo, we know that walk is that he's given, that he's not, he's driven more by purpose than it is by profits,
For sure.
When they understand that aspect of me, then when they come into the stream, they know that like, oh man, if a $600 shoe goes for 300, like, man, what? Hey, that's what it is. I'm not gonna throw a bitch fit or throw a tantrum but that's what it is. I know what I signed up for. This is whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things, man, that the whole thing is built on people. And I think bringing the podcast and bringing a culture to a podcast, to a channel like whatnot, might just fuck around and give us a little bit of edge when it comes to the longevity of the channel.
And also too, people who make it, I think, in content in general, right, or in any avenue, what have they done? Like, I'm like, let's use like a pretty well known example of that, right? Let's look at YouTube. All right, like who's the biggest YouTuber in the world? It's Mr. Beast.
Yeah, yo, crazy enough, I heard that dude's done. I saw a video. I don't know what the fuck's going on with that.
Night. Yeah, so
that shit sounds crazy, like FBI raids type
bro,
shit.
like really crazy. It's nuts.
I mean, I don't want to throw my man Mr. Beast at the but I don't know the guy. I don't know his channel.
This, it doesn't. It's not directly involving him, but like it's the fact that he knew what was going on is what's throwing him in hot water. But regardless of what you may have an opinion about him or what's going on with him, he built the YouTube channel by doing things that were so outside the box.
Yes.
Dude starts, I mean, David Dobrik's another one that you can look at. Like, Dobrik's just a dude that just like started just doing like off the wall stuff. I mean, and him and Beast like just giving away money, giving away cars. Like, it's crazy.
And it's super crazy because damn, I'm over here.
But who's doing that? Like, who was doing that? Nobody was doing that because like that again, like that's a form of content. Go look at Stacey Neistat. If you know who Stacey Neistat is, like he's another one that's one of the godfather. He's the godfather of vlogging. He basically
started the whole thing.
Like all he did was he was a creator. I believe he was did something with advertisement and marketing, but he lived in New York. Had a good job, so was able to get some cool toys and mess around with it, do photography, videography, all that crap. And then kind of messed around and ended up building, starting a trend.
Yeah.
And but again, like no one else was doing it. And I think that's like the key is doing stuff outside of the box, which what we're doing is outside of the box of whatnot. That's where you're gonna start a new trend and you're gonna revolutionize even what the developers of the app like didn't even think there would be a platform for, or that it would be a platform for that.
Well, and I think that's where I hope that if the audience, the chat, does see like value in it, then the more viewerships we get, the more people talk about a podcast. And guess what? Now the other big streamers that are on the app, they might just follow suit and be like, "Hey, man, we might need to do this," just to let people know who we are. Everything started somewhere. Look at Amazon Books. Trios, you're absolutely right, bro.
100%.
Everything starts small, and everything starts, to build a rock from a pebble, kind of like Jay-Z said. And but the thing is that people do need to make sure that they're investing, into what they want to do as far as like their channel. My channel, like at least this channel that we have, like I treat it like a business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't like I stream from the house because like me and my wife, it's just kind of like our one thing that since she can't be at work with me, she likes having something because my wife has been working with me since before we got together.
Right.
So that's our little way and but like
And also too, like just because I want to make sure to say this, like, I'm gonna say it because I know like it's harder like for people who like when it is your show and it's your like to say it, but guys, the best way you can show your appreciation outside, because again, like as a business owner, your job is to provide a product.
yes.
So aside from that, what I'm going to say is the best way you can continue to make sure that we're doing that at the highest level is spread the word and like, comment, subscribe
Yes.
to all the social media platforms, to whatnot. When we're live, like if you guys know like places like you got forums, you got Reddit accounts, you got different Discords like that, that this would be relevant to, share it, share the link, like share like the word of mouth is such a powerful marketing thing above anything else because your reputation is attached to what you're advertising.
Absolutely.
And if again, going back to people buy from people associate themselves with people that they vibe with. Like you could, because you vibe with what we're doing, you could be sharing that to somebody else that you rock with, and then they also now they're vibing with us. And now we're all under a big family, and it doesn't cost you anything. That costs you nothing.
No.
And you get to, I mean, hey, straight up, you get to go to bed at night going, hey, I helped something that I believe in.
Well, and it's what's the word again, bro? But clients, and I only know this because like, Goodfellas has been in business out since 07. And I've had clients that have been with me from the garage to like a studio,
Yeah.
to like a small 400 square foot building, to a bigger one, to a bigger one, to a bigger one. And the thing is that they're so tribal now because like, yo, I've seen your entire journey, the ups, the downs, the pitfalls, like everything. And they just still rock with you. Then that person is not leaving you ever.
And those people take like also too,
No,
like
they take pride.
they take pride
Yes.
in doing that because like for me, I take pride in like knowing I was in on this before like this person was big. Was there's a YouTube chef, his name's Joshua Wiseman, and he's actually from Austin, and like I remember like being subscribed to him on YouTube like right when some of these other guys were starting to make content on YouTube, but the way he was funny, like he was doing it like in a way that nobody else was doing it because I was going in there and it was funny how he was doing his videos, but also too I think I love food, bro. I love me some food, and like,
you wouldn't tell by looking at me, but I do too. I'm just saying.
And so that's why I did it because like dude, like this guy's funny and he's a Texas boy, like I love that, supporting it. And all of a sudden now he's got cookbook. He's got like over 5.5 million subscribers on YouTube. Like he's collaborating with like Post Malone and some of these massive guys. And that's great. Like I remember when he released his first cookbook, like I pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
Cause like I remember when he was just like showing you how to make a good piece of chicken and not dry out your chicken. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now like you're coming over here and taking like Gordon Ramsay's meal that he did and you're doing like a stitch of it and saying, let's see how we can do that. And then Gordon's responding and doing a video. Like, dude, that's cool. Cause like, again, I remember when nobody knew who you were.
Well, and I think that's the beauty of it. Like, and I think that's why like some of the big streamers like Shoe Game Co. and Top Tier and Titan, and there are people that I've talked to that they were like, no, dude, I remember, when Shoe Game was just, small and they were running beaters, and now, they got a full warehouse, and they're running fucking bangers and they're running t-shirts, and that community that you build on the app is I know that Shoe Game wasn't, it sucked, but I'd like to think at least, because I don't know them like that, but I like to think that you got to get past the losses, because anytime you're building anything, it just never, you're not going to see profits right off the rip. You're not going to just,
In that, and again, like that's the key to what you said with anything, bro.
Yeah.
Like let me just like let's that y'all want to get like real familiar, like let's get real, like for a minute, chat. Like
don't get fucking real, bro.
let me tell you something. Let me get real.
This fucker's about to get real.
Athletically declined sports. We started with like 6 people. The very first like show that shows we were doing them with crappy webcams and with like some of us like we're just using our camera microphones, and the quality wasn't that great, but like we just did it, and we were streaming to like nobody, right? Like to nobody. And but we like, okay, cool, that's fine, like we're gonna build this up. Three months later, more people come on. Like we start getting people, like kind of paying attention. We start taking shots, like taking risks, shooting our shots with like guests that we never thought that would even have any reason to want to come on. And all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, man, because we remember when we were there. And so they come on. Next thing you know, we're going starting April of 2023, going into August, bro, and we get a freaking backing to go buy all this equipment. Dude, I never thought that we would be there that early, right? Like, that's crazy.
No, yeah,
and
it's
so
unheard of.
So then, like, and again, in a market that, like, very, very much so, I want to be clear, I understood was saturated, and we had to work our butts off. But then you get to start understanding that, like, okay, now you gotta now it actually starts. Like, that's a funny thing. It's like I remember having meetings and being like, oh yeah, like okay, boys, like yeah, like this is the grind, this is where it starts, and then realizing like at the beginning of this year, no guys, actually this is where the hard work starts. Now that people are watching, it starts. Yes. Because now you can't stop, and because in doing anything, you got to continue to take a step, and that can be exhausting.
It is. Trust me, yeah.
Like mentally, right? Like having to sit down, and I know for you, it's you've got, I want to hear like how you approach your week and what y'all do, and now how you're opening the things up and how that's changed. But I know for me, it went from like knowing we had like a live show that was going to bring everybody, right? And then we had these other shows, and there was only like 3, and it was like the same people, like at the time. Now we have like 16 creators in total with production and everything, aside from other people that have their own shows. Like you guys have y'all show on y'all's platform. We've got Around the Clock that do their show up in Kansas City. We brought on Trayvon Boykin, who came in the shop. Shout out boy T. Like
boy T.
I mean, Deuce is like, he's got his stuff he's got going on. We're about to bring on, another like that Rangers player, Kevin Minch, who we spoke with at the All-Star game, of this past week. And shout out Baseballism, our sponsor. And again, like that's pushing the brand forward. And so that's how I have to do it, because now I'm sitting during my week and I'm not just planning shows. I'm thinking, how do I not only plan shows, but how do we elevate these shows to continue to keep them on the cutting edge and not just be another pundit?
Yeah,
right?
Because that's what happens.
Because it gets difficult. Because again, like you're talking about some of the same sports, right? And with shoes, like you can't control that market, right? Like the market sets itself.
Pretty much.
I mean, like again, like I'm saying,
you supply and demand.
You individually,
No,
right?
no,
like
no,
it's a culture as a whole that sets that market, right?
Yeah.
Like what shoe's going to be hot? Because like if somebody didn't like the Travis, it's not going to be hot. It don't matter. It's because there's a following on the Travis, what it represents.
The masses,
right? Like that backwards check mark, people immediately know what that means. Just like, again, way back in the day, earlier years, not that it's not now, but like it was, people knew what that orange label meant on the shoe.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And now it's more the backwards check.
Yeah.
I think that's where we've evolved. And now, just kind of being around you guys and becoming more of a sneakerhead, like I understand that, like we're in the SBs now, right? Like that's where we're going.
Yes.
So like now you kind of understanding what that looks like, right? Like you didn't choose that direction. The market did. And I can only imagine how that is for you guys happened. So like, can you talk to that? Like how do you as a like in the sneaker side, keep yourself during the week? How do you start that week? Like what's your mindset for going through, like as a business owner, as a shop, like, and how you're buying and how you're presenting the product? Like what does it change on a weekly basis?
Not so much on a The only thing that really changes day to day is really just kind of starting the channel. Like I didn't know what moved. Now being a few months in, now I know. Like I now I purchase. I used to buy everything because I was like, I don't know what the hell sells for what or what people actually want to see. So what I did was that like, all right, well, I'm gonna run everything, and I know that eventually I'm gonna have enough data to where I know, okay, I'm gonna condense and just focus on what people want to what they want to buy.
Right.
So what I've kind of seen is Jordan 4s, SBs, Dunks dead, Jordan 1's dead, Jordan 3s, God forbid, like they're dead. Only just a handful of them. But if I had to kind of say what my week starts like, if if anybody knows, so I'm a active barber still for 20 almost 30 years, or a little over 30 years now. Um, a shop owner, a sneaker store owner, and then on top of that, I run the Whatnot channel, and on top of that, I'm a husband and a father of 5. So that week for me is fucking nuts, and that's why I tell people like, yo, I do not have mad time because I wake up, I get ready, I take my kids to school, then I come to work, I cut hair, then I work the sneaker store. On in the middle of all that, I'm sourcing shoes. Then I have to go home. I have to clean them, prep them, get everything ready for the stream, which is Sunday nights. So that whole process, is takes a lot. And God willing, my wife, if she didn't, if she wasn't accepting of that, I'd be at a fork in the road.
Preach.
You know what I'm saying? If my wife wasn't accepting of, and it's not that she loves it, she's just
Uh,
accepting. She understands that this is what I signed up for. My husband, he's an entrepreneur, he's a builder, he's a creator. This is what he does. And like, it's just, I can't change that. I'm not going to shut that
but
off.
her accepting that is what allows you to run at the peak of who you are as a person.
Absolutely.
And I think, like, for me, like, same thing. Like, I'm married, me and my wife gonna celebrate 8 years this year.
Yeah.
I got 2 kids also, and dude, it's tough. Like, I mean, like, I've had like, dude, I can't tell you how many. I mean, and again, like you tell me on your end, like, dude, how many times, like, just this year, have you had to kind of recenter yourself on your schedule during the week?
Oh, I literally just went to, and even then, still, I went to LA for my wife and my son's birthday. And I still, because SneakerCon was in LA, I was like, babe, I have to go.
Right.
Like, there's no question, I have to go. But it's her understanding that as long as you make time for us, well, then she's more accepting of her making time for my,
Right.
my ventures. And that's the delicate balance of the whole thing. Because if it's too much of this, and you can't even throw in their face like, well, this is what pays the bills. And like she's like, I don't give a fuck.
They don't care.
They don't give
bro.
a damn.
They savages, dog.
Bro, like they're like,
Like,
nah, motherfucker. Like, hey,
it's my time. Hey, like I get the, hey, it's after 5.
that's it.
Hey, it's after 5 because, like, in doing all of this, I also have like a full-time job, which is why we had to push today. Like, I had to push today back because, hey man, like I got to schedule like a lunch, and I we try to keep Wednesdays open, right? Like during my week, I try to keep the Wednesday open for this, and every once in a while, like that'll get thrown in there.
Yeah.
But like, after 5, it's not, dude. Like, Mondays, there's an understanding. Mondays, is a long day. Wednesdays is a long day, and Thursdays is a long day. Tuesdays, like that, my new thing is like Tuesdays after 5, there is nothing being done but them. That is their day. Typically, like on a Friday, me and the wife hang out. Like that's kind of, again, and people can say what they want. Like I know there's a lot like people that may look at it and go, oh, like you have to like you're fitting them in time. No, you're being intentional with your time
that's it.
and how you schedule it because you have to be,
Yeah.
right? It's prioritizing stuff for your personal so that the professional can breathe. And I think there's a difference in for it to function and breathe, because I think when you're letting your professional life and what we do right now like just be functional, like it's not always up being able to be at the level it should. But when it can breathe, that leaves room for creativity.
Well, yeah, because in our reality, I don't want to build a business and lose my family.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Because even though the business it's a personal thing for me. It's like it's a personal ambition. My wife is just, because I love it, she loves it.
Right.
But my wife is more about like, no, I'm in love with you. I love our family. I love our children. The business, I'm willing to accept it as long as it's balanced as best
Yeah.
as possible. But when it comes to, there's times because like I can't source till I get home. So I got to get home. And then when I'm home, that's when I got to jump on and start messaging and replying and like, wheeling and dealing. Like, and then, I get home at 8, it's fucking midnight. And I'm like mid deal. Like, shit, man.
Yeah.
But that's part of the business, and I think you said it right, man. Like, as long as you know that, like, these certain days, because like my wife, that's why, chat, D-Top Seller was good, my boy. Um, what I ended up telling my wife was that, like, look, I'm gonna stop streaming from the crib. Like, I'm gonna make this shit a company shit.
Right.
I'm streaming, like, I have to stream on work hours. I'm gonna stream only from the store because, on Sundays I'm prepping my whole day, shoes, shows, and everything. But all my kids are home, so I'm not spending no time with the kids.
Right.
I'm only doing the work shit. So finally, man, my wife was just like, look, man, like, I get it, but if the house could be the house and the business could be the business, I'd like to keep them things separate.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, you know what, baby? Fuck it. Done. So this Sunday will be my last stream from the house. And then after that, I'm going, it's all business, So I'm streaming from the business. I'm gonna be streaming from the store, and my wife deserves her husband back because I've integrated a little bit too much.
Yeah.
To where it spilled over to the personal side, and that personal side, like, that's my escape.
And that's normal too, I think. Like, also, like, just from someone who balances, a different beast. Like, dude, like, that's so normal. And guess what? It's gonna happen again.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reality. And you gotta, I think once you accept that, like, you find that groove, you enjoy that groove as long as you can, because guess what? When you're trying to grow something, growth is not an easy thing, right?
No, never.
It's uncomfortable. Growing is uncomfortable in anything. As a person, growth is uncomfortable because it's trying to what's the word? Become better at something that you're not good at right now.
Well, it's stepping outside of that comfortable zone.
And I say not good at right now. It's something that could be improved. It's always improving, and we can never stop. If you, as a content creator, business owner, as a person in general, think like that you're ever gonna stop with that uncomfortable feeling, right? I'm sorry to break it to you, but it ain't ever gonna get any easier. It's gonna get harder because the more and more like you start having to refine things, like it starts getting you're starting to like you're tightening up instead of completely changing. But that's also a good thing, right? Like, and you got to embrace it. And once you embrace it and understand, like you don't need to complain, you don't need to bitch about it. You need to like just embrace it, understand it, accept it, and figure out how to get through it.
How to be efficient of it.
Be efficient with it, right? And again, like, I'm moving into a groove. It sounds like you're moving into a groove, and like, hey, like, here's to enjoying that groove while it lasts until the next
the next wave.
Because here's the deal: what happens when sold out? Our culture junkies. When we move, it moves to another level, right? Whether that level looks like more inventory, adding more people, whether that means a bigger building, another building, whatever. Again, like doesn't matter. It could be an assortment of things. There's going to be growing pains, which is a growth opportunity that's going to, again, and that's with anything. And it's going to come. Like, it's not something where it's like, because guess what? People like us, failure ain't an option.
No.
It ain't an option.
No.
So we're always going to figure it out. So it's going to be there. And so again, accepting that is understanding it's never going away.
And knowing that it's gonna be a continuous thing.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, bro, like, I'm gonna say a very unpopular opinion. But entrepreneurship, it's not for everybody.
It ain't.
This shit is, everyone loves the idea of it. Oh, I want to own my own business. I remember when I used to do talks at barber colleges, I would ask people like, yo, man, what's your number one goal in barbering? They were like, oh, I want to be a business owner. Why? Oh, because I don't want to work as much. Ha! That is the biggest fallacy. What if I told you that you were going to work twice as much and get paid twice as less? Would you still want to do it? Because that's entrepreneurship. Yo, me, Brooke, and Cleto, we work this fucking store and we don't even get paid, bro. Because we're in the beginning of it. You know what I'm saying? My check comes from the chair. But everything that we do, like, we're investing. We're investing our time. We're investing our money. But that's what it takes. So if you ain't willing to fucking knuckle up and live on nickels and dimes for 2-3 years, if that's how long it takes, And if you're looking to be home for dinner every night, I'm gonna tell you right now, chat, don't go into business. Find a way to make passive income or income with a schedule that doesn't demand as much, because brick and mortar, that shit is real. That shit is real, chat. I'm telling you, them light bills, them expenses. If the AC break, guess what? That's a commercial AC, motherfucker. So that's $3,000 off the rip. And if you ain't holding, guess what? You can't have it hot.
That's real.
You gotta do it. So,
and even take it a step further, dude. Like I'm gonna take it a little bit further, because like I think like let's get scary. Like
it's scary.
If you ain't mentally tough,
oh yes.
Because I think the mental aspect of all of this is the hardest part of it, because guess what? You're going to get burned multiple times.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You're going to think you know people, and people got motives, and you got to figure out
how snakes in the grass.
It just is what it is. It ain't going away. We still living in a life that have people that aren't like us, and that's okay, right?
Yeah.
You just got to be wary of that. But again, like, you can't let any of that failure, you can't let any of those things affect this, because once this goes away, everything else falls off. Everything.
Well, because this is kind of like the backbone.
It don't shut off, dude.
It can't.
It doesn't matter what my schedule looks like. Don't matter what how diligent I am about my time with my family. Doesn't matter any of that. Whether this sounds good or doesn't sound good, it makes me look bad or not. Like, here's the reality. I never stop thinking about it.
No.
It never stops. It doesn't mean that I don't make time to think about my family and my kids, but I think about this because of my family and my kids, because I'm not failing them. I'm not failing them, and I'm not wasting their time, that this was all for nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, because in like, it's hard to separate that, I think, to understand, because there's a line there, right? Where you've got to walk to where it may look like you're doing it because you want it to be about you. But the reality, it's not that it's being about you. It's because you care so much about everybody else that it's affecting, that you are consumed with the thoughts of it, of how to make it successful.
Well, because like the failure aspect, like there's one thing, man, when I get up and, I say my morning prayers, it's like the one thing that's always is like, I will not fail my family.
Yeah.
I won't. That's why, like, you could strip it all away, motherfucker. And guess what? I'm going to do it again.
And like, here's the real thing too, like, and this is something that I like to do, like, because again, like, we talked from the very beginning, my background's like church, bro. Like, I got a relationship with the Lord. Like I'm gonna get real with y'all, like 100%. Like, I pray about like our business, my AD, all the time, to the point where I'm like, what do you want me to do? Yeah. Like, how do you want this to look?
Lead the path, yo.
Yeah, like, because the reality of the situation is that if the world wants to go and dilute and tell us like what we can and we can't have that like work together, like, and they can choose everything else, I'm going to tell you right now, the reality of the situation is that people like that have, like, a lot of people I've met that are successful in business, successful in entrepreneurs and forward thinking, like they have a good grasp on their relationship with their families, with their spiritual walk, however that looks for you. And they know at the end of the day, like, they keep all that straight, everything else is going to work out. Because like I mean, for me, and I know for you too, like, I believe, like, not to make this about this, but this is part of who I am. Like, I'm not in control of this fully.
Yeah.
I know that my steps are ordered by somebody else. Yeah. And all I can do is be the best version of myself I possibly can. And that is what keeps me up at night.
Well, and it's crazy because then you start to really think about it, because it boils down to perspective. So if your perspective is more of like a victim mentality, like, why is this happening to me? Oh my God, the God don't love me, or yo, then that becomes your reality. But if in your perspective, your reality is that, like, I know that this is happening for a reason, because either one, I have to grow to be braver, stronger, tougher,
100%,
or I have to go through these pains for the sake of understanding what the hell it is I'm trying to do.
Yes.
So when that perspective comes, then every kind of battle, every kind of hurdle that you have to jump, you see it as a
growth opportunity.
This is where I grow. This is where I get better.
Yes.
Because guess what? If that shit ain't kill me, then it definitely made me stronger. And it's just one of those.
And it ties in, right? Like, as you grow, the person at the head and the people that you have around you, it grows the brand and the culture and whatever it is that you're trying to build. It will grow all of that forward. Like, that's again, that's kind of like the theme of this talk. It seems like right now is like, you got to push in everything you're doing, right? Like push it forward.
Yeah.
And the only way to push forward is to grow. And I love what you said there. Like you got to look for the perspective.
You have to.
You can't be a victim in everything, because if you want to be the victim, you can figure out how to be. It's a lot harder to look at things for the perspective in it and everything in the cup half full than it is cup half empty. And if you look at things as that, you're never going to get outside of the perception you're making in that moment.
Well, that perception becomes your reality.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I tell people, if all you do in life is kind of focus on everything negative that happens in your life, it's not that good things aren't happening to you. It's that you're just not paying attention.
Exactly. You're not
You know
recognizing it.
You're only recognizing all the shit that's going on in your life. So then you think like, damn, my life is shit.
Yeah.
Instead of like, yo, yeah, you know, I might have lost my job, but guess what? My wife still loves me. We have a savings account, so bills will be paid for 6 months. Like, yo, things are a lot worse than maybe what I'm making them out to be. But again, if you don't have that perspective, then guess what, dog? And that's the same thing with like, you know, anything in business or in sneakers or whatever, dog. Like, if you're timid about losing money, then yo, this shouldn't be your game.
Yeah.
Because like that, how you allocate, and again, it goes back to perspective. If you're looking at it like, oh my God, I'm just losing money, then of course you're gonna talk yourself out of it. But if you're looking at it at like, it didn't cost me money, it just I invested, because guess what? I gained 5 new followers, I gained 2 new clients, I gained 2 new customers. You know, like if every week or every month it gets a little bit bigger and better for you, even if it's just these little small steps, then guess what? You didn't lose money, you invested money.
Yeah, and to even tag on to what you're saying there, the most valuable thing that you can bring to what you're doing, if anything, and the most expensive thing is your time.
Well, it's the one thing that you can't find or regain.
No.
Once time is spent, it's gone.
And it's there's you can't put a price on it.
No.
You will always lose money in terms of your time. Always.
Yeah.
Because again, like I'm expensive.
Look at you. All right. Chat. So this is the segment of the show where we're gonna answer a few questions. If anybody does have questions, sneaker related, business related, anything. My man Damien 23 said, I lost it all, and when I got it all back, I was reminded of what it doesn't matter. Damien,
Yeah.
I'd love to touch on this, man, because this is part of my story, man. And if y'all could bear with me, man, it's a tough one, because back in 2018, 2017, you know, I had two shops, 4,000 square foot shops. I had 38 employees. You know, one of my shops was generating almost $1 million a year, and then went through a horrible divorce, public humiliation, just burned the brand, and lost everything. You know, like in court, I ended up losing both businesses, all the assets. By the time I was done with my divorce, bro, I swear I had like $2 in my account. I had fucking lawsuits. I had everything piled up from all the business attributes when they were like, yo, you got to sell. Because they don't know. They don't know that, like, yo, man, I got contracts, you know, I got leases, yo. Like, I can't, but by court, by state law, you have to close. When they tell you, close the business down, sell all the assets, and give her half. So when I lost everything, I lost everything. And not only did I lose like my business, but I lost my kind of like my mojo, because like to have it stripped from you, it's one thing to lose it on your own account, but to have it taken from you and then just put it out publicly.
Right.
And then it took me 5 years to build it all back. So Damien, if the one thing I kind of learned from losing it all and having to build it back up is that the one thing that never changed were my kids.
Right.
That was the one constant thing in my life. Through all of it is just their smiles, their laugh, like what I was responsible for. But now I used to be more driven by, you know, like the dollar.
Right.
But now doing it again, now I'm driven more by purpose. You know what I'm saying? And I live that high lifestyle. You know, I live that life of 3 whips, you know, 7-bedroom house, like, you know, all of it, dude. But I feel more purpose now, and I have way less.
Right.
But I the fact of me knowing that I could pick myself back up by my bootstraps, do it all over again, and do it just better this time. Damien, I'm with you on that, brother.
Because what you gained back was what they say, you gained back more than what you lost.
Yeah.
Because and now you're building something bigger than yourself.
Yeah. So it's kind of one of them things, man. That one day I'll tell the whole story. It's a fucking shit show as a story, but even on a business level, when people saw publicly what I had to go through, I even thought about leaving, bro. I thought about moving out because I was like, yo, this is so bad.
Yeah.
But I was like, ain't nobody gonna run me out my own town. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. And I'm gonna do it with my chin up, chest out, and I'm gonna show everybody that like, nah, y'all got the wrong motherfucker. So now that it's all back and we gave it a new twist and there's new purpose to it, there's a new business model to it. All that really did was kind of like my credentials are now totally signed that like, oh no, yo, dude, that motherfucker did it and he didn't do it once, but he did it twice. So now it's where I feel like now I want to kind of make sure that I'm blessing others, whether it's with knowledge or with opportunities, whatever I have at my disposal that I could kind of like bless people with, like you got it. Hands down.
You can always tell too, like people who haven't gone through like this shit yet in business.
You can tell by how they talk, bro,
and how they project themselves, or I guess what they, yeah, I guess the lack of better term, how they project themselves. You can tell, oh, you haven't gone through it yet.
No, you ain't tested the floor. You ain't tested the mud yet, bro.
Yeah. Because once you hit that, dude, let me tell you something, man. Like for me, like in like I'm not gonna like say the person. We'll just say like the most recent thing, like in doing like the AD stuff, like one of my main guys who he didn't start it, but he was came in like early in AD was my right hand, my boy Rick. Like dude, like that was my dude. I leaned on like stuff got done. Like the way me, him, and Spence all work together, like as the three headed dragon of pushing this. The dynamic was just like our personalities all meshed. Like what we were good and weren't good, it all worked together, right? And then like when he had his stuff that he had some stuff he was going through, or now he's not involved anymore. Like, dude, I didn't know what I was gonna do. Because it felt like I was losing like control of stuff, and like stuff wasn't getting done. Like, but what, again, going back to the theme, like how to look at that perspective, how to grow, how to be okay with the uncomfortable, and had to do a little bit of trusting on some stuff, right? And also too, like had to put some faith into people, because people like us, we take on too much.
Yeah.
Don't know how to delegate very well, because we feel like
always.
we do it the best, just because it's not an arrogance thing. It's just
it's an ambitious thing.
It's like I know that if I do it, it's like what I'm thinking is going to be done this way, and it'll get done the right way. And for me, I've become recently okay with letting things fail.
You have to.
And that's hard for us. Because again, we talk about this, like failure ain't an option, but it doesn't mean the whole thing fails. It means that some things have to die so that the better thing can rise up.
Well, it's kind of like you could lose the battle, but never lose the war.
Exactly. Exactly. And yeah, dude, like for me, like that was tough, because, I got like at the beginning of this year, dude, like mentally, I was in a bad, like I'd say a bad spot. Like it wasn't like, think anything crazy, but it was just like, man, I was defeated for the first time.
Oh, God,
and that was again, because it wasn't like on a level of like with my home life, which is something where it's a little right. You can isolate everything else, and you can just go like hone in on that. It was with everything still has to function over here, right? In this thing that you've been putting your time and effort in, and you kind of feel like, okay, we got it. We like everything we worked for, we just got it here. And then now like this integral part has stepped out, and now, shoot, like,
yeah,
how are we going to recover from this? And again, thankfully, like,
you figure it out.
You get good people around you, and then you allow people to grow into other things. And again, let other people go through some failures and some growing and understanding, and you'll be a little patient. And again, that's where you go back to being an owner and being a leader in something like this, whether it's a business, whether it's, a part of a group, whatever it is. Like, it's a very mentally draining thing.
Well, from the movie The Core, it's probably my favorite scene is that There's this young Hillary Swank. She's a all-star astronaut.
Great
And
movie.
have you seen it, bro? So in the scene where she's like trying to figure out the sim and everything,
Yeah.
and she's like, "I'm ready," and he goes, "You're not ready." And she goes, "Why not? I have the best track record." She goes, "What he said was that like you're used to winning, and you
Yeah.
can't be a leader until you've understood how to lose, and come back from it.
Recover from a loss.
You have to,
Yeah.
because if you all you know is winning, at some point life's gonna throw you an L. But if that L is what cripples you, and you can't get back up from that L, yo, anybody that you're leading down that path, if you don't know how to take an L and come back, dog, guess what? You took everybody down with you.
Yeah.
All because like you were too scared to lose.
Yeah, like I mean,
You gotta embrace that shit.
I took an L, like personally, I've taken an L as a husband and a father. I feel like, and recovered from it. And that was tough.
Yeah.
Those cut you deeper than anything, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
again,
yeah.
that's most important. I had a hat company that I started like years ago that failed because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for the amount of work that came with that. I started a gaming organization where we were promoting like streamers that didn't know how to manage themselves, and I had to knock that down because I didn't know how to time manage with everything and balance everything, and so that failed, and here we are again.
Yeah.
And at this time, now I finally feel like I was prepared for the mental side of everything I had lost from in the battle, right?
Yeah.
But the war we kept fighting on, and I know you got some similar in that as well.
For sure.
And again, like that's, you count your losses are going to be a lot more than your successes.
Well, I think success is a byproduct of loss.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
That's why every successful person I have, they have more L's than they have wins. It's just the one big win, like, dissipates all the L's. And that's why, like, even with streaming and everything, dog, if you are not in the business of losing money or losing time, then like, yo, dude, like, business is gonna eat you alive. And that's where it's almost better to just, if safety is your comfort, stay there.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to I'd rather give people the reality of what business really is, because you're not gonna make it home for dinner.
Oh.
You might miss a birthday party.
And you better understand too, like if you somebody who needs your sleep,
Oh no, yeah, no, dude.
prepare to not sleep at all. Prepare to understand what it's like to sometimes pull all-nighters.
Yeah.
Sometimes have to work multiple weeks with like 2-3 hours of sleep a night. Like
No days off.
no
and
days
shit
off.
Like that.
Like it just does. And again, we're talking about like this for me. Like I'm kind of putting that more in a little bit like literally in terms of your sleep, but also like metaphorically in terms of the time, because some of that is a mental time, right? Because you're mentally still attached to it, even though maybe physically you're not in it because you're spending time with the family and kids, but like still mentally, like
It's
again,
always there.
it's always there, man. But let me ask you this, Walk, tell the chat something. Like, how has the little wins affected your mental in terms of allowing you that bit of, okay, I'm gonna hold on to that. I'm gonna keep going. Like, how much do those little wins mean? Because to me, I feel like the little wins come more than the big ones do.
Yeah, the little wins are the ones that kind of keep you going. Because the big win, there's times where you won't even notice the big win until everybody else does. Because you're so caught up in the day-to-days that the little wins of like, yeah, finally hit a profitable stream. All right, you know what I'm saying? And it might just be $20, but for the first time, I'm not in the negative.
Do you feel like that some of the reason is when the big wins hit, you kind of expect the big wins because you're so big picture?
Yes.
Because that's how I feel.
Yeah.
You kind of like, not maybe like in the detail of that win, but in general, like, okay, there's the big win that I knew was coming down the road, but the little ones in between are the ones you're like, oh, okay. All right, sweet.
Like oh shit, we got it. Okay.
Yeah, like again, like, and it's like in your tone is more like, oh, okay, sweet. Like that's sweet.
Like you expected it, but it's still almost a little bit of a surprise. Like
yeah.
All right. Shit. Okay, I did it. All right, next one.
But the big ones, I find myself going, like I'm almost like still locked in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
you don't even believe it.
you don't even, you're like working through it to the next one almost.
Like you almost pass it because it's like I thought about this a year ago. So I'm just exactly where I should be at. Like I thought I lived this already.
Because in your head you're going, all right, I expected that a little sooner. Like for me, I'm all because you got high expectations of yourself.
Of course,
I mean, okay, cool. Like, okay, we're finally here. Cool. I wish I would have been a little sooner. I expected a little sooner, but okay, cool. What's the next big one look like? While everybody else was going, bro, like that was so awesome.
And you're like,
but did you see like this, like the last like small stream we did where we were like profitable? Dude, that was sick, right? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, but what about this big banger?
To me, honestly, bro, like scroll up, please. Oh, hold on. Damien asked me to scroll up real quick.
Oh, dude, yeah, Damien's been hitting the banger, bro.
No, he is, man. Scroll up, please. Okay, I'm sorry. Mentally, we're never prepared for what God has in store.
Oh, come on.
But he only sends his toughest warriors to the battle. Damien, preach, my boy. Preach, my boy. And it is the truth, dude, because there's a saying, I only know how to say it in Spanish, but it goes like, Dios ahorca, pero it's like God will choke you, but never strangle you.
Yeah.
So he has to give you those tests because like I have a big feeling that there are people that aren't tested like others do.
Yeah.
And because testimony is what makes, stories,
right.
It's what, because if God wanted to touch me through you and I'm troubled and I'm, like I'm looking, if you ain't never tasted a third of what I've been through, I could never take you serious. But if I know that what God has gotten you through, and it's probably 10 times worse than what I did, and you can still find a way to smile, then guess what? I'm paying attention now.
And the other thing too, like, and I love that because one thing that I always like, I have kind of been a mantra for me in content creation here in the past like 2 years has been everybody has value, but it's up to you as a leader and just as a person, but I'm going to speak to as us in the positions we're in, to recognize that in what it is, right? No matter how much you may dislike this person, no matter how much you may feel somebody like doesn't do this right, didn't do that right. Because like I have people be like, oh, why is that person still here? Or why did that person what? It's because bro, the value they bring in this area, it's like they have value.
I think the value part is probably the big thing. Damien said, put God first and all else will follow. Trust me, I'm a walking testament of this.
100%,
100%, bro.
100%, dude.
Well, because like to me, I've always thought that like God's word is in his people.
Yeah.
In the sense that, have you ever had a conversation with somebody that you're like, why did you say that? Like, how did you know I needed to hear something like that?
Right.
And to me, that's the true word of God, because he could tap into anybody and anyone, from an infant all the way up to a 68-year-old, a homeless guy, crackhead. You think, like he is not obliged to just, there's not this elite that these are the only ones I'm dealing with. Personally, I think that where he needs to get to you, he'll find a way to get to you, and he will give you what you need as long as you listening.
And like, so y'all hear me when I say this, okay? Because this is like kind of more the deeper side of what I just said means to me, right? The value thing, right, is that people that are put in your path, right? Like what you just said, that's the bottom line value, like that's provided. Is that person was put in your life for a reason. At the baseline, if you can't look at anything else from a value, they were. So it's up to you to figure that out, right? Because and I look at this like long ways as like, the Bible, again, like I ain't getting theologian on you, but like there's a verse that says like where God says that if you will not praise me, the rocks will cry out. And I look at that and applying that to my daily life as like, even the rocks have value enough that I would allow them.
Preach.
I would allow them to have voice to praise me if you won't.
Ooh.
Like, think about that, bro.
Come on, quit playing.
So, like, when you look at it that perspective, when somebody is put into your life and you're like, bro, like this person gets on my nerves, but they keep following, like coming up. And I'm just using that as a specific example. I've had that, and I'm like, okay, but why? Like why does it bug me that way? Okay, well, you're not looking deep enough, bro.
Like you're not seeing the real value of the whole thing. Yeah.
Because some value isn't surface level, dog.
No, it's not. It's not. Well, Jet Boyer, fly guy,
That's
yo.
your flyover.
Jet Culture Junkie episode 3. It is a wrap. Thank you. So Jet is here for every episode. I think it's about time y'all got to know my guy because he's gonna be here for a while. He's gonna be here every episode, guys.
Oh baby, we docking the Jet in the hand.
There you go.
Right
so
here.
guys, we hit our hour mark, guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, guys. I hope we brought a little bit of value. Tune in on Friday night. We're having a stream. We're running Travis Scott's. We're running this unreleased Jamie, this beauty right here. We're running this bad boy right here, the Fragment. We're running the fucking Phantom. Quit playing with me. We running fucking bangers on Friday night as Sold Out with Goodfellas in the building.
Before we go, do you want to touch real quick about the event?
Oh, the SneakerCon event.
Yeah,
yes,
I know you wanted to touch on that.
So, guys, we will be at SneakerCon in Dallas. We will have a brand alley. We're going to be doing the pop-up. So we're not just getting a table to sell shoes, guys. We actually have a 20 by 20. It's a big jammy. We're going to have 2 barber chairs. We're going to have a place where the podcast, Athletically Declined, will be set up. We're going to be podcasting for the 2 days. We'd love to pull people from the audience or from the crowd to come in. Just chat it up for about 10 minutes, man, and really give value and really get to know the people that want to come. But stop by the booth, get a haircut, buy some shoes, sell some shoes, get some shirts. We're going to have all Houston Astros stuff because we do it for the H, and that's it. That's it, baby. But that'll be August 24th and 25th. We will be at SneakerCon, guys, so please check us out. Again, guys, we do have a stream on Friday here from the store. My last stream from the house with the wife will be this Sunday. And after that, guys, it will not happen again. I'll be only streaming from the store. So, guys, join us on Friday for the bangers. Join us on Sunday as my last stream from the house with the wifey, man. We're going to make it a little banger just on a personal level. And after that, man, it's all business from here on out, guys. But thank y'all so much. Damien, thank you so much for dropping them gems on us, guys. Jet Boyer, once again, man, thank you for stopping by, bro. And till Friday, till next week, we will have H-Town Soul Collector on the podcast. And then every week after that, Sundays at 12 o'clock, right?
Sundays at 12 o'clock.
Except today. Today was
Wednesdays. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Wednesdays at 12 o'clock. At your lunchtime, tune in, guys. Rhoda, my boy, thank y'all so much, guys. Love you guys to death. And don't forget, what was it again? Stay cultured. And what was it again? Fuck.
Hey, stay cultured and keep it junky.
Stay cultured and keep it junky, guys. Right here. Because I'm addicted to this shit. Guys, thank y'all so much. Love you guys. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.